If I had to direct a documentary about Oberon Asscher, I think for me, I would start the opening scene in Atlanta, from where the brand made its transition from Valdosta to Atlanta, and was starting to make more of an impact on not only friends but strangers and people in the city. That it captured the eyes of strangers. It captured the eyes of people who saw the clothes, saw you wearing it, and wanted to know what it was. It captured the attention of people who were on social media and wanted to know who this video was about. And this was around the time where I'm just joining on to the team and trying to go heavy with video, trying to go heavy with video on social. So I would capture the story of the transition to Atlanta and how the brand is really making a focus on people in the community, especially Atlanta.
I'm Sydney. I got introduced through the brand through my cousin, and we just kind of hit it off. So I feel like I'm the mascot almost of Oberon now. I don't know how many campaigns I've worked on with them. So here we are again, doing another one.
When I first got introduced to the brand, I didn't know what it was. So I think I saw the shirt with the number on the back. I forget what number it is.
Well, my name is Raven, sometimes referred to as Pink Ray. You said say something about me. I'm a fashion designer and a tailor. I first got to know about Oberon when I was 18. I was going to school at Valdosta State, and a friend of mine one day, we were in class, and she's like, "Oh, I have this brand. Do you want to model for them?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah." So I think a couple days had gone by, and she texts me, and she's like, "Hey, we have a fitting for the first shoot, so we're gonna all ride over together." We did the fitting over in what is the name of the apartments right there by the highway? Blanton? No, not Blanton. The Grove. We did a fitting in the Grove. so we pulled up. Everybody was there. And that was when we got to meet like the rest of the team. We did the fitting, and I think the shoot was like the next day. And the rest is history.
What up? I'm Squirrel Davis. I'm a photographer, director, creative director, and I got introduced to the brand in 2014. I was one of the original members of the brand, and Hussein is my line brother, so that's how I got introduced to the brand.
Bam. I go by Bam, but first name Abubakar, last name Bamba. They call me Bam for short last name. The last name is Bamba, it's West African, but everybody just calls me Bam. But what I do, civilian side, I used to be in the military, that's why I call it civilian side. Civilian side, tech sales, but streetwear world, I'm a brand owner for a brand called Social 67. Oberon Asscher earlier this year, like the summer of this year. So probably about going on 4 or 5 months now. And what was the second question? Second part to it? I discovered it actually through social media. I got hit up to come do an interview in the store. And from there, pretty much, I've been sticking with the brand ever since. Pretty much, I learned just how quick, how authentic everything was, just walking in the store and getting a feel for all the art and all the pieces they have hanging up. So yeah, I'll definitely say how authentic they are and then the community they bring behind it.
My name is Casey O'Kelly Jr. and I discovered Oberon on campus. I forgot exactly how I discovered it, but I do remember how me and Husani met, because they had before Oberon was called Oberon, it was called was it like Ruthless Riches or something like that? It was something crazy, like Royal Riches. Yeah, Royal Riches. Before it was Royal Riches, and they had a little bear on there, and they was like, "Yo, we need a logo and whatever, cause this logo sucks." And I was like, "Shit, I mean, I do logos. You feel me? Even if I really had only done like 2 logos up until that point, you feel me?" So me and Husani and John had sat down, put everything together, and that was my first time meeting Husani when we made their original little Dead Bear logo with the little X eyes and everything. And so that was how I got introduced to Oberon, pretty much my first day working for the brand.
Quincy. I learned about the brand because I went to school at Valdosta State. I always used to see it around, and I was always interested in, streetwear. So I just knew at some point I wanted to be involved, even if it was just supporting, just wearing the clothes and buying it as a consumer.
Yeah, what made you want to be a part? So you already knew about it. What made you want to join and actually contribute to the Oberon Asscher team?
I always enjoyed selling things, and I always liked clothes. So I just thought it made sense to, sell what I like and what I got interest in, instead of just selling things I'm really not interested in.
I'm Lyric Leonae, I'm a model, I'm an actress, and I've been with Oberon for roughly the past year. I got introduced because I was shooting with a different brand, and one of the models from the other brand, he randomly hit me up and was like, hey, I know a brand that's looking for more models, are you available? And I was like, yeah. And then Oberon hit me up, and it's been history ever since.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Molly. I'm from Queens, New York. I'm the co-owner at Camp Kirk Studios and head of operations. I run a day-to-day kind of flow of the studio space, and yes, sir.
So, seeing Husani hustle at Camp Kirk Studios when you was working there, when y'all was kind of coming up together, what was it like watching him use that space to bring television to life?
Yeah, Husani is my dog. Like, when I first came into Camp Kirk Studios, I was just kind of like just running around with the studio space just like Hoop. So what ended up happening was that he was an intern, and I kind of was like on the intern flow too. So
DJ Monday Mall, you know what I'm saying? Streets on the 4.5, club DJ, tour DJ, you know what I'm saying? I've been with Oberon since day one, man. Way back in Valdosta in the crib, bro. I remember when I was cooking up the first designs in the living room. I was just a roommate, you know what I'm saying? I always had my own thing. So when I see my friends doing their own thing, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get in. I want to just, support, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always feel like that was big. Just, not always copying what your brother doing, but just support your brother in what he doing. He gonna support you in what you doing. But Oberon, man, I seen the whole thing.
My name's Corey. I go by Corey. I go by a few other names, but I know about the brand because I've pretty much been there from the start of the brand.
What's up, everybody? Tyler Barker. First got introduced to the brand, had the pleasure of going to college with Husani, Valdosta State University, class of 2015. Funny story, I actually met Husani on move-in day with my roommate, best friend, Chris Hawkins from Columbus. He said, hey man, walk over here to Georgia Hall with me. Want to introduce you to my cousin. Met his family, helped him move in. And then kind of fast forward 3 years later, 2014, got introduced to the brand through Husani and just his entrepreneurial efforts, and just wanted to have something on its own. And so I thought it was dope. Ever since day one, campus thought it was dope. Everybody was really on board. So the brand was really just a beautiful flower.
All right. What's up? I'm Shad Lou. I'm an artist, and how I got introduced into Oberon, I kind of introduced myself. We take it back to 2014, 2015 when I seen the whole setup on the yard. I seen what they had going on, emotions and stuff, and I just wanted to be involved, and we just went from there.
Art show, it allowed me to be super creative in a very short span time. So I think it pushed me creatively to be able to bring something different, one, to the store, to the brand, and then to the city. So being able to really start our true collaboration in that moment, I think it blossomed like a really good partnership and just a friendship.
Yeah.
So when you first, I guess, laid eyes on or realized that the brand was a thing out for Valdosta State,
like, who the hell do these people think they are? Who are these kids? They were like hella ambitious. I remember just like the teddy bear t-shirt just being everywhere. It was like plastered everywhere. Like if we had, I don't know, like celebrity performers that would come through the city for homecoming, or like people performing at Deja Vu, they would have just like the t-shirts everywhere. And I was like, what the hell? Right. Honestly, I really admire them. I studied fashion myself. Later on, once I switched schools, and but at the time I was still really interested in fashion, and so on one side of the coin I was like, oh yeah, do y'all think y'all are? But on the other side I was like, dang, they really, you know, they're kind of just taking what they had and moving it around, no matter what it looks like to, you know, whoever's onlooking. They just taking what they had and really putting themselves out there. It was really courageous to witness. Well, I'll backtrack. Oberon was my first modeling gig. So when they considered me for the brand, it was really special. We did the first photo shoot and I was like hella nervous. And I remember getting the pictures back and being like, okay, I could see like the potential for the modeling and how it could grow. One thing I really valued was being able to use like every continued photo shoot after that as a means for like practice and sharpening my skill. I learned a lot about how things show up on camera. So hair, makeup, styling, clothing, just like posing. I learned a lot about how creative elements show up on camera, you know, so.
So, tell us about when the swimsuits became a thing, and then you became a model for the swimsuits. And that was record-breaking in the brand because that was the first time everything went sold out and they made $1,000 in one day.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh my God, that makes this even more special because that's actually my favorite shoe. That was the first time that they had done anything for women. I mean, with the exception of maybe like a few tees that were like more feminine graphics. I know, oh my God, that was so, and then, so that's one of my favorite shoots. I wore the white one piece with the black Oberon Asscher logo in the center. Yeah, that was like the first time they had released the swimwear, but that one was cool because we shot that at my apartment. So, oh my God, wait, I'm still blown away by that. I didn't know that, and I was a part of that. That's special. I didn't know that. Cause like, I mean, you do the shoots, but you don't really, well, me personally, I do the shoots and I don't think about like where the images will go or like how far the product will go. I just show up just to support, and then I'm like, okay, oh my God. Oh. First of all, every time I see that damn store pop up on my timeline, I be damn near about to cry. Because I think that's so cool to see it go from just like a couple t-shirts here and there to like you have a space. And anybody that works in retail or wants to pursue fashion, I think they understand how special that is to be able to have something that's your own little corner of the world where you can create and make it be whatever it is that you want it to be. So I think that's so phenomenal that they do the store. I didn't even really see it come. I guess I would have never really predicted it. I think in my mind it would have mainly, I think it originally for me it would have remained as like an online store shop type of thing. And then he called me and was like, yeah, we opening the store. Oh, I gotta go. So yeah, that's really special.
This man who like, he was on big hustle timing, you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of people thought what he was doing was renegade, you know, like he was coming in and when you see someone and they got that drive and they just even had that look, he was already just kind of like forcing you into his community, you know what I mean? Like,
And he taught me a bunch of things that he probably don't even know. He taught me like from being able to hustle up, and it kind of felt like he had to do it all by himself, you know, and I know he had a team and everything, and I'm pretty sure there was other people, but from what I saw, you know what I mean, and from the Cut Different brand, when that first kicked off and that first started, it really was like, yo, I'm gonna just do it. Like, I'm gonna do it. Like, the culture, in my personal opinion, wasn't not to like just look around and wait around and just hope something happened. Everything that he did, every idea that he had, he just said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so if it was an artist that came inside the studio space and he was getting them that merch, like, you know, like, and it was sometimes I used to be like, man, he tripping. But like, he wasn't tripping, like, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, nah, man, I gotta make sure that this artist, and I gotta make sure that my brand get out there, and like, just seeing how he could hustle and kind of start from nothing and just kind of where it's at is very inspiring. It's lit. You know what I mean? To the point where he got his own shop. I remember when he used to just run around with the clothes. First off, he was acting so crazy. He had people take a picture in the sweater, then give him the sweater back. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, imagine you an artist, right? Like, he run down on you, he like, yeah, I want you to kind of like, take this photo for me in this hoodie. And then it's not even like you get the chance to keep the hoodie. You needed to give the hoodie back. So, and then that became why I really like Sonny, because then he got me on board. He said, yo, if I'm not even here, if there's an artist that comes in, I want to make sure that they got the hoodie on too. So you gonna start doing that for me too, and then you gonna do it for me. And then, so now it didn't matter who was there, we all was under the same mindset that like, yo, bro, you lit, we rock with you, take a picture with this hoodie or take a picture with this shirt, whatever he kind of left us. And then we need that back, because the next person that come in here, man, we gonna put them in that too. So that grind, bro, like that hustle, like he ain't had no shop. My son just had a bag of clothes, and sometimes the bag would be, it wouldn't even be a book bag or something. You taking a shirt out of a book bag, but it was anything by all any means, and that was pretty fly, man.
So like, you know what I mean? All the entrepreneurs that went to college, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of us too, man. So, you know, it's the more unconventional route when you went to school and you didn't go get the big 9-to-5, or, you know, Hugh did have a 9-to-5 though, but you know, it's a difference when you commit your whole life to your business versus you do it on the side. You know, that I ain't take away from nobody, but you know, us that's all the way out there, you know, it's a little different for us. So, you know, when he was running out of answers in life and he had to rely on his own skills, you know, but when you've already went through something and you see your brother going through something, you know they can get out of that. You know what I'm saying? I knew how he could change his situation on his own without having to depend on nobody else. So, you know, I already know like the little remedy for the situation. Like, yeah, come kick it with me, and my other brother Eric. You know, we was on the entrepreneur path. You know, we be trying to convert people like, hey man, come on, it's not that hard out here. It's not that bad. All you gotta do is just lock in. Who pulled up, locked in, took off. And you know, for him, it was just about, you know, watching somebody that you love believe in the things that you telling them, and they listen to your advice, and you get to watch them pay off. And it's like, I told you.
Where like, it's kind of surreal, like, you know, like I be in a different state and I see Cut Different. Like I remember one time, like this was Husani was working at the Firehouse Subs. You know, if you know, you know. I think he got paid or something like that. He got a little check from them. I'm pretty sure he wasn't getting paid that much, but like he spent his whole check on like just to get shirts out to people, like, you know what I'm saying, just to get them out, like to sell them. Like he spent his last on this shit. Like that's a crazy moment though. Like, but now I remember, man, it would just be us, man. We'd be in Blanton, man. Just a group of us, just, you know, doing what we do, man. Might be high, we might be drinking, like we might just be coming up with ideas, like come up with an idea, get the design, get the shirts out. Like it wasn't like really much planning in it. Like it was just like we was just going with it, you know.
Again, just a little bit. What was it like witnessing the brand at Austin State? And what is it really like a small takeover? What was it like to experience that before you got on the team?
It was great because back then I feel like, you know, the clothes was very affordable for college students. You know, we were selling shirts for about $20 and that's all most people had to spend on clothes. So it was great to, you know, if you needed something quick to wear on a weekend, it was easy to buy and it wouldn't hurt your pockets and you'd actually look nice when you put it on. And also it was always a great conversation starter when you had on the clothes and other people had it on. It was a great conversation starter. Man, I think it's great. I mean, I think if you like think about a lot of brands that people started in college, it don't exist at all anymore when it comes to clothing. So it's like, it's very impressive that, you know, it has lasted so long because 9 out of 10 clothing brands in Valdosta, you know, just stopped. And, you know, Oberon's still going on and still growing. So it's actually great. It's a great thing. I wouldn't say I had any crazy memories, but I will say I've had some of the best laughs. You know, coming to the store, coming to the events, you always know that you're gonna get a good laugh, have a good time. If you're in a bad mood, you come to the store, you just know you're gonna see people you love, care about, have a good laugh, and, you know, go home happy. So that's what I can say.
Yeah.
When you do see the brand out in public and you see somebody wearing it, how does it feel to, especially if they're a stranger? Because you know somebody in the back of your mind, like, man, they kind of really like a part of the club already, just knowing how close the community is. How does that feel?
It's a great rewarding feeling because it kind of shows you the fruits of your labor. It's kind of like an aha moment as well because it's, you know, you have to remain humble and like just take a step back and say wow and just, you know, just thank God and just, you know, pat yourself on the back just for all the hard work we put in together as a team to really just, you know, the airport, a restaurant, a bar, or what have you, the movies, you know, it's a possibility you're gonna see Oberon Asscher everywhere around the city, around the country, and even around the world as people travel internationally. So it's a really surreal kind of aha moment feeling, but it's something that I wouldn't trade for anything. I really saw something in the brand. You know, not only is Husani a friend, he's a frat brother as well, and so, you know, I really wanted to support him through offering some of my expertise, some of my skills in terms of just leadership, communication, and things of that sort, planning, and really just an eye for things, and just getting things forward to the finish line. And so I really wanted, you know, to see him be successful. I saw his passion, I saw his energy, I saw his vision, and it was something that I feel like. And so I just really wanted to, you know, pour into the brand, pour into him, and, you know, just have it take over the world.
And then to talk about Oberon Asscher were to write a book about his journey, what chapter would you contribute to?
I think, you know, the little things. Chapter called The Little Things. I think that's something that I've really helped the brand do, and just focus on the little things, whether it may be a certain detail on the clothing, how we're reaching out and showing that we value our customers, maybe a certain method that we do a rollout, and just working step in step, hand in hand with Husani, to just focus on those little things, because those little things really can really make a company successful, you know. So, you know, the little things, the details, the process, as the great Nick Saban would say.
And last but not least, for the time.
Well, my role with the brand was more so like the photographer for the brand, because when the brand first kicked off, that was around the time that I purchased my first DSLR camera, trying to really dive into photography, videography. So as Hussein was building the brand, or, you know, just coming up with ideas for the brand, I was a photographer and shooter for the brand, so my very first shoot was actually a shoot for Oberon. I was super happy and excited to do it because I was so eager to, you know, just learn the ins and outs of my camera and just, you know, shoot something. And I was happy that Hussein was also building his brand. So just us two working together at the beginning of our careers, and, you know, us just trying to put something out there and actually make something happen with the fashion brand that he had and with my photography career that I was starting off. I felt like Oberon take over the Valdosta State campus in its early stages, because it was also a reassurance to us, Hussein and I, that, you know, once you stick to something and you keep, you know, just pushing your brand, and when you have a passion for something, that it's gonna hit where it's supposed to hit. And once, you know, he found, or once he started pushing out the product and he was consistent with the product, it took over Valdosta State's campus. And, you know, we were just super excited to see, you know, the response from everybody around the school. And me doing the photo shoots, we gained more notoriety with the photo shoots and him pushing out the brand, so it was super dope. And it's something that, you know, like once we initially started, we knew that we wanted to gain notoriety from it, from whatever it is that we were passionate about. So it was fire to actually see that come to fruition. Hussein initially moved to Atlanta after Valdosta, and we were working together at a studio. And from the studio, Hussein had got an opportunity to go out west and do some NFL work. And, you know, he took his brand out west, Oberon out west to Vegas and Oakland. I think it was Oakland. It was in the Bay Area though. But after the Bay, he moved to LA. He moved to Vegas. And Hussein told me that he wanted me and Antonio to come out there and work on a project for him out there in Vegas. So Antonio and I went to Vegas, and I think that was one of the most memorable experiences I've ever had with Oberon. It was super dope and fun to just go out there, connect, create campaigns and shoot campaigns like how we would do when we first started both of our brands.
And then, what has been the most surprising thing about getting to know the Oberon Asscher brand and his team? What's something that stood out?
Something that stood out just about working with the brand is the humility, I think, and just, you know, it's still that drive and that hunger, you know, which I think that at its, let me see how I can say this.
Yeah, you good.
But like when you see like the drive still inside of the owner of someone who has like a brick and mortar, right? When you still are able to see that hunger, it makes you appreciate the product more. So I think that's what, I mean, it's something I already knew, but I think that's something in the city of Atlanta is kind of a fleeting thing, because a lot of the popular brands, a lot of the popular fashion companies are like fueled by clout and fueled by a celebrity wearing their piece versus like another local designer wearing a piece. That is way more tangible and it's way more appreciated from the consumer, because it's like, oh man, this dope brand I've been keeping up with for years. Oh, they like him too. Oh, they cool. You know, we eventually become like what we grew up loving, which was the rappers. You know what I mean? The underground scene, the mixtape, like the designers. That's what we are now. So it's on us to kind of like push that needle, but also be willing to collaborate or be willing to wear somebody else's piece that's local as well. So I think seeing that, I think I definitely value how the brand moves in that regard of like taking advantage of those moments of like still being humble to the process of the game and knowing like what works, which is like building across the board.
Well, for one, I'm, like I said, brought on for pretty much every campaign. And when I feel like Husani doesn't bring me on, I'm like, who did you pick for this campaign if it wasn't me? But honestly, it's just like a family. Me and all the models are basically like all talk still. And it's always fun when we get on set because we just leave off we pick up where we left off. So it's always like a fun time. It's like a big family. I really wear this stuff. Like, I don't just model it. I'm like, Husani, I need this fit, I need this piece. I've bought stuff. I've not only received stuff, but I also will continue to purchase things. I get so many compliments on the sweats when I wear them, on the hoodies and everything. People are like, oh, those are fine. So like, I really wear this stuff. So if I can wear it, you definitely should be wearing it. And I feel like that just speaks for itself. The quality, since I've been a part of the team for some years, and Husani's like a big brother to me, so a lot of times he sends me designs or will be like, does this feel good? I need you to wash it to make sure the lettering isn't coming apart. So he really puts a lot of effort and quality into the clothes. They're definitely worth the price. And they're all very unique. Each collection has a very, very deep and relatable story attached to it, which makes the clothes even more important. It's changed a lot. Well, I wouldn't say changed a lot. I've always been into streetwear, but it's interesting to be put in things that are meant for men's clothes and still like tailor them to the female audience. So I would say I've just been more open with versatility when it comes to my style. On a day-to-day, I'm a very girly girl, but when it's time to be chill or hop on a flight, I can throw on Oberon and it still is like feminine or like looks nice on me. So that's how I would say it's changed my style a little bit.
The first thing I did was go to the Instagram page, and the first thing that caught my attention was the quality. I seen the quality of the projects and the campaigns, and I was like, okay, bet, I can work with this brand. Personally, it has helped me grow a lot, especially with my modeling, because before when I was modeling, I wasn't consistent with it. I was just really watching other people do it and imagining myself like I could totally do this. But with Oberon, it helps me not say no. When he hits me up, it's like, okay, I know I gotta do it. I'm gonna perform well. It helped me professionally because if you know me, you know I'm on time to basically nothing. And I try my hardest to make sure I'm on time for all the shoots. And yeah, I just say it just helped me grow as an individually and as a model. Honestly, I don't even remember the name of this campaign, but we was wearing the maroon jackets and I was the only girl and it was like 5 other guys. That definitely stuck out the most because that was my first time doing any videography work. Like before it was just straight pictures. That was the first time where I had to learn how to know when the camera's on me when it came to doing videos. So that definitely helped me with that. It's different, it's completely different.
I'm like that person who always says like, this is my favorite design. And then when I do something else, that's my favorite design. So I don't want to say one in particular, but I think from the start of our like collaboration and like knowing each other up until now, I can definitely see the growth in each design and how we kind of get more familiar with each other, like from the brand style to my own personal style and being able to put those two together, but it, you know, not veer off from what the brand represents. So I would definitely say all in all of them are very important to me, but I think the one that I had the most fun with, oddly enough, is the family collection. Just because it was one of those designs where it's something that I haven't done in a while, and I felt like it brought like something out of me to be like, okay, challenge yourself, you know? So I was kind of like, you know how you start something and then it's kind of like, ooh, this might be a little tougher than I thought it would be. And then once you get in the groove, it's like, okay, now this is gonna be super dope when I finish. So I would definitely say all of them, but what challenged me the most was the last one we just did for the family collection. I would say, so I'm big on like, for my own personal brand, the 3 things that I mainly focus on is quality, shape, well, that's really the main 2 is quality and the silhouetting of something. So before I think about like graphics, before I think about anything else, I want to know how does it fit on the person, and then what is the quality of the garment? Because I think you can have like great graphics or you can have like a great design, but if the clothes don't feel good or they don't look good on like your body type, I feel like it's not really a good piece. So I would say that working with Oberon has definitely allowed me to challenge myself on a graphic design side and think like more graphic arts that, you know, are fitting for a brand. So like I feel like our brands are different, but at the same time, it's definitely helped me be able to look at my own brand and say, okay, these are like the graphics that I want to do, because I think Oberon does a great job with graphic design and like having different hits on the clothes that I feel like it's not overdoing it, but it's also like a nice touch. So that's how I would say us collaborating or meeting each other has influenced me.
Yeah, a moment that stand out to me is when we went out to Las Vegas to film what was at that time the latest campaign. And what really was special about that was everything came together so well. Me and Skrill Davis went out there. Husani was living in Vegas at the time. So he flew me and Skrill out there to photo and video the whole campaign. And everything from the locations to the models that he had chosen out, just for the theme of the shoot, everything came together well. Aside from it just being a good time, good camaraderie on set, the visuals at that time where I was transitioning for my brand and video-wise, where I wanted to put my focus at, which was more like the ad campaign space. Everything just aligned with what he wanted and what I wanted. And Skrill was able to get some great photos as well. So overall, that was like one of the best memorable moments, like shooting a campaign or shooting anything video for the brand. So when it comes to everything video for Oberon, I always appreciated that Husani was very hands-on with the process. From the ideas to completion. He always had very specific ideas for what he wants. And it wasn't so rigid to the fact that I couldn't come in and add my style and my sauce too. By the time he bring an idea to me, he'll ask me what I think about it. So us growing together as friends and at the same time growing together as partners trying to push the image of the brand through video, it was just a good connection between both of us because we were able to input both of our ideas, see what works best, see what we feel most comfortable with, what we feel would come out best on camera, on video, and it's just a good relationship through and through, from the idea to its completion. I think the brand storytelling through video has grown by just focusing on community, focusing on storytelling. Of course, we have one-off videos where we might focus on the rollout or specifically the fashion pieces at that time, whether it be the shirt, the pants, just detailed items of the clothes. But at some point, we always return back to telling the story of an individual, telling the story of just something that's sentimental. And when we tie that in with video, and of course, tie that in to the rollout of certain pieces of clothes, then we found that we're able to make somewhat of an impact, especially through social media. So all in all, it just comes down to telling a good story and focusing on good pieces with good story. I realized that the brand was really making an impact when it came to the social events. So throughout the year, you plan rollouts for different pieces, you plan campaigns, but nothing was like when you host an event in a physical space and you ask people to come out and share that day, share that time with you. Not only did they do that, people came out at will. People came out ready to socialize, ready to have a good time. And on top of that, they bought into the brand, whether it be pieces from a recent rollout. And I'm talking about events like the Bodega, events like Live Different. So when it's easy to get a social following, but there's nothing like transferring that following from social to in person. So that's when I was really able to, step back and see like, wow, out of the hundreds of people that came out here today, like we knew mostly everybody. If we didn't know them for a long time, these are new faces that we met recently and now they're coming back out. So that was like a good reassuring moment that, you're making a connection with people and they're excited to support you in what you're doing.
One of our first more successful designs was the Grizzlies design that got us kind of our first little bump in popularity in Albany. I remember the Grizzly design actually came from a different design. Of course, it was inspired by the Memphis Grizzlies, but it was a different logo that I did for another brand that I personally started called Friendly Neighbors. It was Jason and Usani and them liked it so much that they bought it from me, and we made it into the Oberon logo. And that was the inspiration for that. You know, it actually came from something that I had, I was, kicking around in my brain on my own. And we cooked that up and we put that out. And that's what inspired that. Like I got to see it from when it was nothing. Like it was just 3 dudes in the back of a classroom trying to kick around some ideas to figure out what they wanted to be. About to now is we have a real sense of direction and belonging, if that makes any sense. Like, when you first start out, and this goes to anybody starting on a clothing brand, you don't really know where you fit. You don't really know who your target audience is. You don't know who your target demo is. You don't know what any of that is. You know what you want it to be. But, it takes time for you to really flesh that out. It takes 3-4 years for you to really figure out who the hell even wants your clothes for real. So once you figure that out, and once we figured that out, we figured out, okay, we fit here, we need to produce this. And then we started figuring out how to increase the quality of that, And I think that's the biggest change from the jump from the beginning to now, where in the beginning, we was just throwing stuff at the wall. Grizzlies logo here, this logo here, let's try this, let's try that. Once we really locked in on a solid idea, which in my opinion was the cut different hoodies, that was the first I feel like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And that is, I feel like, where we had our first real big change, in my opinion. And to me, that is when we had our first big change, because to me, that's when we had a sense of direction and a sense of belonging, a sense of where we belong in this city, where we sit, and how to grow from there, That's where I feel like we had our first big change. When we first started, it was a lot more graphic heavy, it was a lot more like, it was the PacSun era, so, it was real big on logos, big bright colors, things like that, Karma Loop, that type of era, you feel me? Now, we're a bit older, a bit wiser. It's not about, shoving our logo in your face. We've created a bunch of strong marks, as I call them, and now we put those marks on really high quality garments. That's the goal now. Quality of the actual material you have on your body. That's what we're selling to people now. And I feel like that is what people want. I remember we was down in Valdosta. There was a bunch of little brands down in Valdosta, right? And they was, doing their little thing. And we made a logo, I think it was like inspired by the Chicago Bears or something like that. And when we did the logo, another brand that copied our exact logo and put it on their hat as well. And when they did that, Usani came to the office like, oh, bro, he motherfucker copying us. And I was like, bro, if nobody's trying to copy you, then you're not doing something right. You feel me? Like, that's how I knew we was probably on the right track, and that's why I stuck it out with Oberon, because I started realizing that, if people are trying to duplicate what you got going, you're probably making some heat.
The brand hasn't skipped a level, you know what I mean? From we outside selling shirts on the university, on the campus, then we graduate from not being at the school no more to we transition to Valdosta of trapping out the trunk of cars and stuff like that, still selling merchandise, to trying to get endorsed into, not endorsed, but like trying to get the clothing line into certain stores, like the Bed Dagus Cypher. Shout out to my boy Dex. Shout out Nay. Shout out Tev. You know what I mean? Shout out the whole family. That was a moment, that was a big moment. I just feel like that moment was special because it wasn't forced. you're around people you know, you're around a family, you're around a bunch of creators, and we're just out there having fun, just doing what we do in our industry. And it's just to see how it came out, how it turned out, the way people put it together. Casey shot it, Casey edited it, put it together the way Sonny directed it and stuff like that. It was real cool, dope moment.
But once you walk in the store, you just realize that this really is a place that you can just walk in and just be yourself. Just from all the nostalgia, like CDs and movies that he has laying around, to the artists on the wall, and just his pieces itself, the whole store vibe is just, I love it. Because every time I walk in, I meet somebody great, so I like it. Good of a community they have. Like every time I come in the store, literally every time, I meet somebody somewhere and I network with them, and we leave out being cool. So I definitely love the fact that they have a strong community behind them, and everybody that I meet is good people. That's big, man. I feel like that is the brand. Like, you don't really have a brand unless you have that. Like, you think of these big brands like in the streetwear world, like Stussy or Supreme, and you think about pretty much just the community they have behind it. Like, Stussy started off with like surfers and skaters, and Supreme started off with skaters too. And no matter what happens, you know, as long as you keep that solid foundation and you keep that community around, you always gonna have a brand. You always gonna have people around you that you can lean on, or people that you can create for, because those people.
As I met Husani and I met Skrill and I met Kavinci and all of these cats, and I just honestly, even Adrian and everybody that kind of came from that Valdosta umbrella, man, those guys were like together. They were like a family already, and then I'm starting to see like, and I know they was all like Kappas and stuff like that, but I started to see like, yo, it's cool to like have like a crew, you know what I mean? And then the crew just supported each other. So we all wore the hoodies, we all wore the shirts, and he was the first brand inside the studio space that kind of was like a clothing brand. You know, a lot of other people had brands, like let's say like somebody did makeup or photography or something like that, but he was like the first like t-shirt clothing brand that we all just was like, man, we're 100% on it. And that was cool. Yeah. That's what it is. Like, even when you think about the brand today, like when you do the events and a bunch of people come out, we're not only coming out because the brand, you know what I mean? We're coming out because we love Sonny, you know what I mean? Like, we love the crew, that the entire family, I mean, that we all kind of feel a part of. Like, so when we kind of attach ourselves to that, that's why we have every piece and every item in every collection. That's the reason why we do it, because we're not looking at it like, okay, cool, we're spending money on a t-shirt. You know, it kind of really does feel like you're supporting something that you started, you know what I mean? Like, you even feel as if, like, you feel a part of the start, you know, of the brand, you know what I mean? Like, I remember doing one of the first shoots outside of the studio space when he had the Oberon Asscher, and it was the rainbow look, but it was like the black hoodie, you know what I mean? And I know he could bring that up because that's 1, 2, 3. Like, I remember being a part of that shoot, and that's 2018. Then you look back, what's that, 6, 7 years later, look where we at now. Yeah, like, I think a lot of times brand use the words family kind of loosely. Like, you know, I personally feel like a lot of times it's kind of like something just to like play off of, so like that way somebody can probably feel like a part of a community, but they don't really mean it, like, you know what I mean? But when you come here, you actually do feel like family. Like, there's not one day that I've been around the crew. A lot of cats don't even know me, you know what I mean? I didn't go to school with the guys, like, but it's like going to like a family reunion for every event. Like, you know, at a certain point and at some time, whoever is there, they were a part of the journey, you know what I mean? And me being, I know I'm not at the start because I believe it started when they was in school, but me, I know, playing a pivotal role inside the brand's growth and just seeing how the brand has continued to elevate. Even if you came a part of the brand 2 years ago and you didn't know that I was a part of it 6 years ago when we was running around Camp Kirk Studios just trying to figure it out, you know for 100% fact that I'm family. You know what I mean? And I treat you like family, and then we gonna meet each other like family. Just like if you go to a family reunion and you see somebody from South Carolina that you never knew before, but at the end of the day, you know, you guys share something together. And whether that's a last name or whether that's, you know, blood, you just kind of feel like, you know, you're part of that family, and that's exactly how
It's so cool to know the meaning behind it, and I feel like every time a new collection drops, the visuals go crazy because no one's doing that, especially in Atlanta. Everyone drops streetwear and it's just like another design. There's no message behind it. There's no campaign behind it. And it feels cool to like tell somebody when they ask me and I'm out like, yo, this is dope. Like, what is this brand? Like, what does this mean? And then you tell them and they're like, oh, wait. And they go check it out because it's like, nobody in the city is doing that. And that's what's so cool. And it's like historic. It's on a historic road, like, or it's on a historic street. And so it's so cool that there's like, every collection is different. Even when there's new pieces drop, there's a different story behind it. Okay, so he always has the Bodegas. If you guys aren't a part of the Bodega or haven't been to one of the events, you need to come. It's always an event that I look forward to. I'm always like, Husani, when are we doing this? So I can make sure that I'm there. And he has like local vendors, food. He uses his friends to do the bartending. Sometimes they cook. It's all just really personable. Like this past year, he had someone doing spray painting, and it was like someone he had met in the community and asked to bring them on. And so it's always a creative space, almost honestly like a networking type of event. So when you like run into these people, I've made friends and kept in contact with a lot of the people that I've met at the Bodega, as well as just like in the store. Once again, since I've been modeling for them 4 years, I've just established a lot of relationships with everyone, including Tone, who's sitting behind the camera. And it's just always fun to kind of like get out of your comfort zone, because I'm quite a homebody, but being a part of this team has made me opposite. So Husani earlier this year hit me up asking me to do a photo shoot, and it happened to be on my birthday. And of course I wasn't gonna tell him no. So they surprised me. Well, he surprised me with a little cake, and everybody sung happy birthday to me on set. So that was a fun one. It was a lot more of us than it usually is. So that was a memorable shoot for me.
How does being a part of the Oberon family feel different from
To me, it's not only blood, it's just having relationships and conversations where you can call someone up and be like, hey, I need your opinion on something, or you know, you need them to help you out with a situation. Even with like making connections, Husani is like family. Pretty much the whole Oberon is like family. If they call me and need something, I'ma always do my best to show up. So family to me is being able to rely on your community, and that's pretty much what I've established here. That's what family means to me. All of my friends are my family, and that's just how it goes, vice versa.
Now, for the folks who don't know, talk about who was there early on. You know, it was you, it was Husani. Talk about who was there from the jump.
Of course, it was Husani, it was John, it was me, my boy P, my boy Snoop, Quan, Skrilla. Shout out to my boy Skrilla, man. I hope I'm not missing nobody else, man. You know, Turk, K, you know, everybody contributed to the first, like, photo shoot. Is crazy. Like, none of us took pictures. Like, we just, everybody was out there, though.
On the team, you're known for your hustler mindset. How do you think, like, your drive has impacted the growth of the brand and just the culture of the brand overall?
More so, I think just networking. I've always been good at talking to people. I felt like I've always been good at reading people. So just networking, bringing more people, like outsiders, into the brand. Selling, like I've always been passionate about selling. And I also think what we make is we make great clothes. So I'm very passionate when it comes to selling what we're making.
So going back, I think that still exists even now. Like, when you see somebody with a brand Asscher, immediately you feel like either they know somebody part of the team or try to figure out who they know. Like, how does it feel, like current day, 10 years later, to see somebody with it, you get another CEO, just to see anybody with it on the street?
I think it's even better now because people that you meet that wear the clothes are not actually from Valdosta. So it's like, now it's just like, oh, dang, how you know about it? And it's like a small world because it's like you're meeting people that you've never seen before that didn't go to Valdosta, but they're wearing the brand. So it's always a shock when you see somebody, you know, that got the clothes on from the brand. I feel like the events we have, you know, separates us from other brands. It's a very fun experience. It's not like just every time we have an event, people come to the event, they have a great time. It's more about the clothes. It's like building a community, so it's always a good time. That's what I think separates us. You know, family always been very important to me. Even since I was a child, me and my brothers always been close. So just, you know, having friends in the brand for so long, you know, is very rare because that really doesn't happen. People, you know, fall out left and right. So it's always just happy to know that, you know, even if we see eye to eye, we'll still be family. There's never any pressure. I can't say there's somebody in the group that I just, you know, despise. I actually enjoy seeing everybody. I love the team. I love everybody. So.
For different things, but I always, anytime somebody asks me, I always like highly regard my time at Valdosta State as like one of the best times of my life. And a huge part of it was getting to be a part of Oberon and making a lot of friends through that. We were just having fun, man. We were having fun. It was really cool to be a part of a collective where we were all kind of just like new to creating something. And so one thing we did a lot of was just like work in-house. So, you know, if someone was into music or art or graphics, you know, we kind of just like relied on one another to bring certain ideas to life and just provide any feedback for growth that we could do. If I get too deep. I'm learning that as I progress in age, family is not specific to your blood relatives. And that a lot of times we are all sort of blessed with the opportunity to curate our own little community. And I think the more time you spend with those people, it kind of goes over your head that this is your family until you settle down into yourself one day and you're like, oh wait, I talk to them more than I talk to, you know, my aunt or my cousins back home. Like, these are the people that surround me. Family to me means community. It means support. Anybody that's able to provide you with a sense of comfort in the back of your mind when these people come around, you instantly feel at ease. And anybody that you can just kind of lean on and fall back on when it's difficult to feel tough, you know. Yeah, anybody that can like rally around you and make you feel safe.
It was really powerful to see so many people gravitate towards the brand and really just wear it all amongst campus. And then also, you know, with Cut Different, the meaning of it, that was really inspirational as well. You know, no matter what you are doing in life, no matter where you come from, no matter what you aspire to be, just aspire to be Cut Different. So, you know, that has really developed into one of the mottos of Oberon, and it really stuck. Yeah, I think the community really made a difference because, you know, when you're starting out, you know, you may not have the you know, big budget, you may not have the big marketing budget, and so your best form of advertisement is you know, word of mouth and having people physically support and wear your brand day in and day out. And so we were able to build a community based upon that, of just having people just support genuinely. And from that, you know, we're not only just based upon support, you know, we're actually making good quality clothes, dope things that you can wear, to all types of venues and settings. And so, you know, that helped really just kind of increase our community and our size, and really just kind of expand our outreach. And so we're really thankful for the community, honestly, because, you know, we really wouldn't be here, you know, without you all, in terms of just being around for 10 years and still being a pillar and a staple, not only Atlanta, but just the entire country and even the world. You know, the prayer, we always say a prayer right before the start of an event, and everybody's holding hands. As you know, when 2 or 3 more gather together. And you know, it's really powerful to just be in prayer and just to thank God, because we really wouldn't be here without him. And also, you know, it's good to share that spiritual moment with your brothers and everybody else who's helping the team. And so I really think that's, for me, that's one of my favorite traditions, and just sharing that experience with my brothers. And also, you know, Husani also make sure we have some good Publix fried chicken before. So I definitely enjoy that as well.
I remember us like having meetings about it, like, you know, it's kind of similar to what Husani's doing now. Like, he would call meetings about the brand, you know, just kind of like getting everybody involved and like actually putting a plan together. I thought that was pretty dope right there at an early stage of your career with the brand. You know, like once you get a brand, some people don't really call meetings and try to have actual structure within the brand, but I thought that was something that Husani did in his early stages that I could really remember, and I thought it was, you know, a pivotal moment, because he was showing that he was in the right direction as far as like being a brand owner, and like just being a business owner in general. So I thought that was super dope. And then not only having a brick and mortar, but with the collections, with each collection that Oberon drops, I feel like it's a theme behind it, and the themes make it more sentimental and more meaningful. So I feel like the themes for each collection make the brand stand out a bit more and a bit more meaningful. So that's really what I'm impressed about these days when it comes to the brand. Just every time you drop a collection, there's a meaning behind it, and with the meaning and the theme behind it, it makes it more thoughtful. He hit me and asked me like if it was an opportunity at Cam Kirk Studios to work and just tap in and get connected with people. And me being the manager and also him being my line brother and frat brother, I had to throw him in there and give him an opportunity to come work at the studio. So I did that, and just seeing him really connect with people and, you know, take advantage of that opportunity to connect with people, do his shoots for his brand there, while also, you know, just doing his job on the floor at the studio. I thought that was super dope. And he also always just kept that drive, even though he knew that, you know, he was working at the studio. He never let the studio and his brand interfere with one another. When he was at the studio, he made both of the worlds come together and use it to his advantage. So I thought that was pretty dope. And once he did that, he kept pushing the brand, and I think maybe a couple months after, he had connected with so many people in the studio, because during that time, we would have like maybe hundreds of customers a month. It was so many people coming in and out of the studio at that time, and you know, you just kind of like connecting with different people that come out there, because you're on the floor, you're helping the clients that come in the space, and you know, once you help the clients and you make them feel at home, y'all connect and exchange information, and then from there you have the opportunity to give them your social media, tell them what you do, and I feel like that's how Husani also grew his brand in Atlanta. So I feel like that was a super dope time right there, and a very pivotal time in his career.
Yeah. So the first time I was introduced to the brand was like, I was actually behind the bar serving my drinks in collaboration with another brand. And I bring that up because eventually we did a collaboration with an event he had at the shop. So I think that for me was like my whole reason to even being like, okay, no, what is that? Because I think in order to build community, you have to like, yeah, it takes a couple things. Like it takes people who are hustlers, of course, but then it takes people who have like the foresight for what the culture needs. I personally am like very in tune with that aspect of creating. So I want to build across the board with people who understand palette, but who may not see the full potential of like what the city needs in the future. And for me, I think that's like embracing the tangible things like food, embracing the tangible things like going for a stroll down the park. Like, I mean, the arts and all that shit is cool, but it's like that's no different than somebody creating a great piece of beverage or great piece of whatever it is, bread, cake, whatever. You like, those things are just as tangible if you create space for them to be appreciated the same way. So for me, I want to do that in general. I think that's what the city needs the most right now. So I definitely saw the potential in doing that. So once I saw the brand, it was like, okay, no, I just started digging deeper. He gave one of my homies, Latif, who I actually was saying I did the event with from Wisdom. He gave him a piece, so I've seen him in a piece. It's like when you do those intentional things, you know, I think that ultimately always builds community, and then the whole reason is for the eyes attached to it. And for people like me who saw what was going on and who didn't necessarily know the name of the brand or the meaning behind the brand, but then you start digging deeper and even seeing Hassani's willingness to say what these things mean, you know what I mean? It just kind of makes you appreciate more the palette that's already established. So yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. How do you think you bring your personality to each campaign? You and a couple others have really become kind of like the faces of the brand, especially this past year. How do you think y'all bring, or specifically you, bring your personality to the brand and the campaigns, and it's Oberon too?
It's definitely really big on community. One, we're on Auburn Street. And two, he likes to throw these parties every couple months, them block parties every couple months. I haven't had the opportunity to come out yet, but I will soon. And I will say the brand is really big on community and family in general, because I remember when I first started with the brand, I was randomly talking about how I wanted to be an actress, and then Hassani won't let me live it down. Every time he sees me, he's asking me to do some type of acting role. I may be scared, but they push your limits. So I will say only those brands that really care about family and community will care enough to push you outside your comfort zone.
With doing the art show, I don't think I had any like expectations going into it, because I had just really got back into art, and that's probably the first time I did that many pieces at one time, and also displayed it as like an actual exhibit. So I think it brought like community. It brought like a lot of people or new faces that, you know, might have not been familiar with me, as well as it just allowed me to be able to really showcase my art. And I think being able to collab with a brand, that just brings like just endless opportunities to go together and, you know, really build like a partnership that I think you can grow and things like that. Hassani is definitely a person who is just naturally a people's person. I mean, I don't know if he feels like he's a people person to himself, but I definitely think he has like that gift of gab to like bring people together. And like, even when you don't know somebody, it's just kind of like, it feels like when you come to the store, it just feels like a place that you can really call home. And I think seeing people come out to each pop-up shop, and outside of just like, you know, talking, networking, you know, it's actually people buying with the brand. It's actually people who are being a part of the brand, and they love to see the releases and things like that. So I think it's something cool to see, to see a brand grow and then actually see in real time, you know, people supporting it. Outside of it just being like cool clothes or something that looks fly, I think it's really built a community of people that just love to be around the brand and just want to see it, you know, blossom into something bigger than what it is now. I would say during the exhibit, I think every moment was honestly fire. So truthfully, like I said, that was my first time having a full exhibit where it was just focused on myself. So I started doing art since a kid. By the time I got in high school, I did a lot of the state fairs, any big thing where you had to submit art in, I did it. But it still was featured other people, or sometimes you just take the work there, but you're not physically in the space. So I think this was a time to allow me to meet new people, see how people feel about the art. Because like I said, I didn't have no expectations when I did it. It was just kind of an ideal that was thrown out there, and I was just let's do it. So it was just honestly seeing people enjoy my art, seeing people, give feedback, figuring out what pieces did they like the most. Yeah, I think all in all, it was no particular moment that was special. I feel just being able to.
So already having an idea of what the brand was before even connecting with Husani. I went to Valdosta State. I was able to witness how it was able to spread and take over campus while I was there and while he was there. And when I moved to Atlanta and getting the invitation for him to collaborate on some of the stuff that they was doing, already I had big respect for the brand just because of the energy that he was putting into it, all the effort that he was putting around it. And immediately, I just wanted to come in and see how I could elevate what they were already doing. So at that time, it was mostly cut different. That was the main thing they was pushing under Oberon Asscher. But I was able to come in and witness them take that to a whole nother level and transition into other quality pieces in fashion as well. If I had to describe the Oberon Asscher team in 3 words: 1, camaraderie; 2, good sense of style. I know that's 3 words. And then 3, forward thinking. That would be my 3 ways to describe the Oberon Asscher team. Once again, my name is Antonio Scantlebury. I'm a cinematographer, director. I want to wish Oberon Asscher and the team a happy 10 years. It's been a great 10 years thus far. It's been amazing to witness everything the team has been doing, and I'm excited to see what the next 5, 10, 15, and beyond will look. More connection, more locations, more touch with the people. I'm just excited to see everything that will go on from here on out. Bless.
What they do. So the first time I came across it, the thing that I recognized from the jump was the amount of people that was already following this movement of Oberon. So that was big for me because, like I said, just being a freshman, sophomore, whatever it is, I've never seen anything like that at any university. I played at 4 different schools in college and stuff like that. So just to see the impact and everybody that was involved, that was major for me. The amount of involvement that y'all have from the community, y'all really have y'all own hub of people that come out and support every event y'all throw out, whether it's a bodega event, which I believe we're going on 4 of them now, to just you having different artists come out and collabing with them. Every time they have an event, it's just a bunch of new faces, not the same faces. We got people coming from all kind of different places. And I think that's just what's separating y'all from the rest of the competition in this industry. Community is everything in comparison to what our fans are to artists. Without the fans, the music means nothing. The community that y'all have, they're the ones that's influencing y'all to push the culture, to create these designs, to put on these events, bringing everybody together and representing the culture properly. For me, I feel like my connection with the brand, it starts with the character of the people that's behind the scenes of the brand. Of course, we got the hardest designers, the hardest photographers, videographers, and stuff like that. But understanding the sweat equity that goes behind just any brand, whether it's music, whether it's the entertainment business, whether it's a corporate 500 company, the sweat equity, the effort is all applicable across the board to each and every industry. I relate more so to that because I understand like they're not skippable levels with this. Like I mentioned, from starting on campus with a table to trying to get in athletes foot, to trapping at the back of the cars, to now we have a storefront. Like you can just actually see the process and the steps they are making, and you can't skip steps with none of this if you want to continue to succeed and push the envelope to where it needs to be. So I think I relate I relate to that much more than anything.
Having friends in the brand for so long, you know, is very rare because that really doesn't happen. People, you know, fall out left and right. So it's always just happy to know that, you know, even if we see eye to eye, we'll still be family. There's never any pressure. I can't say there's somebody in the group that I just, you know, despise. I actually enjoy seeing everybody. I love the team. I love everybody. So that's what I can say about that. I'll say happy 10 years to Oberon. I know we got plenty more decades to come, and I'm excited to see the growth. Very excited about that.
Anything else you want to add?
Nah, that's it right there.